My name's Konrad, and I've been coming to Woodlands now for about 5 years. I'm Bristol born and bred, and originally I used to go to Redland Parish Church, and that's where my mother took myself and my older brother and sister. My background is sort of quite normal. My mum's a Christian, my dad isn't a Christian, but we've always been brought up really, in a Christian household, and went to Sunday school, and so yeah, sort of had a bit of a normal life really. From about my A-levels onwards and all the way through university, I decided to sort of turn away from God and follow my own path. And during that time I got into loads of trouble, yeah, sort of was in a really bad place. And it was after university that I knew I needed God back in my life, and to actually sort of build that connection and have that relationship. And so, yeah, God really answered my prayers in quite a sort of significant and dramatic sort of sense. And in that way, I knew then I was completely different and I was changed, and that my life would be different from there on in. And so, yeah, I've really been blessed by him in so many different ways in my life, and I really sort of feel he's continuing to bless me. So it's, yeah, really exciting. The best thing about having God in my life is knowing that he's always there no matter what. So no matter what the circumstance, no matter what I'm going through, whether I've been made redundant or whatever, he's always been there. I know he's always been there and looking out for me, and he's never abandoned me, and he's always provided me with more than I actually had to start with. So I know no matter what I go through, he's always there for me.
My name's Jessica, and I'm from New Zealand. I grew up in a very rural part of New Zealand. My family was partly Christian, my mother and my grandmother who lived with us, and my dad perhaps believed in a God and had some Christian-like morals, but was not Christian. And when I was about 11 years old, I gave my life to Jesus. And that was really exciting. But as I sort of progressed through my teenage years, I was the only Christian in my year at school, and quite a hard place spiritually. And as I got slightly older, my church sort of got smaller and the youth group disintegrated. So the world became more and more non-Christian, and a tiny bit of that at home and a little bit at church. And although I had a real sense of God and I loved Jesus, I think increasingly I got worn down and confused about how did God fit into this world. And gradually God became a very small part of my life, and I think I tried to fit God into my life. At the end of my first year of university, when I was 17 years old, I had a very serious car accident, and God sort of arrested me in that moment, and I was really critical, and I had severe head injury, and injuries to my lungs, and I really vividly remember not being able to breathe, and each breath being extremely painful, and I felt so alone, and like I couldn't do it, and God wasn't there, and I remember crying out and saying, God, I've had an okay life, I know who you are, and just let me go to heaven. I remember this warmth and light, and God speaking to me really clearly and saying that I wasn't alone, and I had to keep fighting, and that each breath he would be taking with me, and yeah, and he was, and I didn't know because I was unconscious, but at that time there was all these people continuously around my bed praying, and my mum rallied up everyone she could, and yeah, so the next 7 years was a really difficult time recuperating, but God really healed me, and it kept, yeah, it was just amazing. All these things the doctor said I wouldn't do. I wouldn't study full time, I wouldn't finish a degree, I wouldn't work full time, I wouldn't have a baby, and you know, all those things, you know, God proved them wrong. So God heals people, and He loves us, and He protects us, and when we feel we're alone, we're really not. God is everywhere. Yeah.